Okay guys, so today I'm gonna explain from start to finish how I did this project. This is an animation for a non-profit here in Houston, Texas. I was approached by an agency called Black Sheep Agency here in Houston. They're one of the best ones in town. Um, how I got with them is that I sent them an email following the freelance manifesto, and they responded me about a year ago that I was gonna get on their list of motion designers, and nothing happened after almost a year after they reached out to me regarding some project, and they wanted to make some quotes and everything. So I did some proposals. They talked to me about the project, and gladly I was able to work with them. And this is the first project that I work with them, so I'm pretty glad that they give me the chance to work with their team. This campaign was designed by them. They have a lead this designer on their team that was in charge of all of the branding image campaign. And I'm gonna show you first the end product, even though you can see it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna play it.
Hey, Harris County. If you're seeing family or friends, going on a trip, or headed back
Hopefully
to work or
that's
school,
not too loud.
it's time to get tested for COVID-19. Get tested close to home with Harris Saves, a research project.
So the
led
project
by
has a
UCL.
voiceover,
Testing is free,
music,
fast,
illustrations,
and open to everyone in
mostly
your home,
photos,
including the kids. It's still important to help stop the
stock
spread,
photos,
even if you've got the vaccine. You'll even get a gift card for your time.
some lines.
Sign up today at
This is our
harrissaves.org.
old stock photos, and then the final product was a 30-second promo, and there was a version in Spanish too. So I'm gonna show you first what they give me. So this is the storyboard. This is what it makes it to the final product. But first they sent me this. So their designer made some illustrations. Here you can see all of these assets that I can use, all these elements, and then they share with me some examples of what they have done in the campaign. So this is one of their designs. So the first step for me was analyzing the campaign. They have some others on Instagram, on their website. So I look at them, and then from there I start sketching, and then I went to Illustrator, and then I started doing some concepts. I think I delete the ones that didn't make it, but in this case this was a final product. So they had a voiceover and they had a script. So some of the words that I use and sentences I put it in here on each image. So my goal was trying to use all of the colors that they have. So first it was until here, it was until the website. Then later in the process they added 2 more screens. So as you can see here, I use some of the elements, and then while I was doing this I thought on how the animation was gonna be. So at the same time I was thinking, okay, if this text goes here, Next slide, it's gonna be on the right side, having different different photos. Then with this one, it had some more elements in here too. Text, something like she's like saying something loud, so added these elements, and then this little like bees in there, and then from there I use the same background color, and then I jump to this one. So I was thinking like, okay, that transition is gonna go from here to here. I might use the same background, and then this just do like a little slide or like circles moving. I got the text like this because they use it in some of their images in the campaign. They were like that. So I thought to added some more dynamic into the letters. You got this one. It was a to-do list, so I thought it was like mom and dad, and they have a to-do list, the little car, and then the kid watching them. Some elements at the top. High quality education from here. I added this element in the back to focus your area in here, and then you have the kid like holding the letters. So that will make like a little rule of thirds in this one too. Then the next one, it was just text and elements in the center. That green background, then we jump to the same green, and then the kid jumps like from the bottom to the top. Then you have these elements in here, and then you have the word free on the back. Then it was supposed to close down until here, but when I was doing the rough cuts and everything, they decided to add one more slide. So before I do to the animation, I present all this to the client, and then they present that to the main client. And in that revision process, they decided to add these two more. And then they finish with the go to pregethouston.org, and then all these logos and some elements. To get up to this finished storyboard, there were like 3 revisions. So that's what I typically do. Have 3 revisions if it's not like a big project. That way the project can move faster. And then from there, I separated this into individual files. I'm gonna open one so you guys can see. So in here I had each element separated by layers. So as you can see, it's the background, these elements, the circle, the kid, they all separated into layers. That way when I import into After Effects, I don't have any trouble into masking or selecting. In here we already had the script in Spanish, so as you can see in here is an English version. Later I just move it to the top. You have the English, and then that translate into Spanish. So it's usually kind of a challenge in here, because you have to now think of how the design it's going to look. In English, you use less words than in Spanish. So I had to make some adjustments. In After Effects, I think I moved this one to something like here. That way it will make more sense to it. And then I have some other examples that I can show you. Same with this one. I had each element in a different layer. As you can see here, you have the Spanish version, then here the English version. So you have 1, 2, 3 words in English, but in Spanish you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you have 5. So that's a challenge sometimes, trying to do all these projects that they require both languages. And then the hardest part comes to when the voiceover, because the voiceover takes longer to say something in Spanish than in English. So that has to be challenging too. And then from there, I went to After Effects. Let me open that project. It updated by itself. So in here, inside After Effects, I imported each scene. So every one of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until 10. It's each file that I showed you just before. So if you open it, you're gonna have all the layers that I had on the first artboard. So at the end, you have the kit. I separated each of these words. So I made a mask for each one. So if I take out this mask, you will see it's the whole word. And then what I did was I animated from bottom to top one time, and then I mask out each individual word, and then I put them on this order. That way it appears like this, instead of first making the mask and then animate each individual word. That way it saves you time. I imported each one of these into After Effects. Each one is around 5 seconds. They don't need to be longer because the video is just 30 seconds. And then in here I went simple. I moved this to the position. Then I animated this circle behind him. And then here's the main timeline where you have each one of these. I had some sound effects that they didn't make it to the final product. I believe I had to turn off a few and then add some of them. So in here you see this first animation that is happening, and then the second artboard comes from the bottom, but you have some elements like this one that is animating before it comes to full screen. That way it looks more dynamic and it's not like a dead space. So the composition is still in here. It's as you can see, I didn't animate anything outside. So what I did inside here is I animated the background, but first was this lining here. So as you can see, it's animating before everything comes in. And then the kid comes from the bottom, and then you have these little bees, just making a simple motion. And then I did the same thing for the text. So I animated all of them together, and then I just offset them right here. Then this is how it looks at the end. Then it comes to the second one. This one was a hard cut. These were the two that they had to add at the end. So with this one I just did a hard cut. And the kid and each of these elements animates. And then here I did a slide. You can see even in here. So since both are the same color, I slide them to the left, and then this text appears the same way from the bottom to the top. So for this one I try to keep it simple and then make it from the bottom to the top, all of the text, that way it is consistent. And then with this one I did a mask. This circle, as you can see in here, is the same color as that background. So it starts full screen and then it comes down and shrinks. That way it helped me to bring this circle on a more natural way. So if I turn this off, you can see this mask is taking out the previous slide, and then it reveals this one on the back.
Means they'll go somewhere.
And then what I did with the one at the bottom is that I animated the circle from full screen all the way to the original position. That way it looks like there are two circles happening here. So the one at the top and then the one that comes in. And then you have this text that is sliding that I show you on Illustrator. And then from what I did in here, it's I copy the text. So I select it like this, copy, and then paste it in here. But I made this path in here. It's a mask. This one. So if I move this one, the text will follow it. And the same here. If I move this guy, it's gonna follow it. And then like if you see the animation is there, so if I move it this way, move it here, the text will follow that path. So that's what I did with the text in there. So it comes in as it pushes the circle, and then the kid comes from the right side. And then it comes the second animation. This will be the number 6 from all of the other ones. And then on this one it comes a little car, this blue car, and then it drags the composition on the right side. You see as is entering here, this one catch up with the car, and then it reveals the kid from the bottom, the text. I did the same animation. And then I added some transition in here. As you can see, it's a transition. And I did it like this way because the kid is like pulling from the bottom left to the upside. So I wanted to follow that same motion, like going up, and then the kid is coming up, and plus the circle gives another depth to the animation. Then since we had the same colors as I show you guys in here, we have these same colors of the background. I push the illustration down, and then this one is just behind, and each element it's appearing by itself. And then we do a hard cut to the free, and then the kid comes from the bottom, and then you have these elements that when he hits like this part right here, it gives him a little more dynamic to the animation. And then the last cut was a zoom in and some circles, and then reveals the closing one. And that's it. It was pretty straightforward, but the project was like 2 months. It lasted kind of 2 months, mostly because of revisions of the client. They took some time to review. We had some subtle changes because some of the words they didn't like the placement, or even we had to change some of the photos. But overall the project was pretty smooth, no major changes. And then it just and then after this one was approved, I had to make the Spanish version. So what I did is it was just duplicate the project, that way I save my English version, and I don't have to redo the whole thing. So what I did basically was just turning on and off some layers. So in this one you can see here there's the Spanish version. So you have all the English in here, and then I turn off the Spanish one. But that way I just have to animate just the text, since they already approved the whole storyboard in Spanish too. So when I duplicated the project, I just went and animate the text, and then move some of these elements from their position, so to make it more space for the Spanish one. And then it was just an easy process because I didn't have to reanimate the whole thing. Because if I didn't thought of how the process would be since the beginning, then it would be a whole mess. But gladly the client said we wanted English and Spanish, so all of that was taught since the beginning of the storyboards. and that's it. It's a simple project breakdown. There wasn't a lot of elements in here involved. I had some input from the designer when I was doing the storyboards. Something like just put the kid on the left side or on the right side. Let's make the font same weight, same size. Watch out for some kerning. But overall was pretty simple. Their comments. So I would say like this project was a really success. It was pretty good. Um, for this one, I asked 50% up front. The client was okay with doing that, and then the other 50% was paid when the project was closed. They didn't ask for the files, edit files. Um, Usually I sell them separately, but sometimes when the client is good and they want to make some subtle change, I'll just do it myself, or they can do it by themselves. Because when something like this happens and they want to do a whole thing or they want to change a lot of things, it might get complicated for them, so they call you, and that's good. But I try to make the projects as simple as possible when they're like this type. And that's everything I have to share right now. Hopefully something that you guys seen here was helpful. um you have any questions, let them in the comments. Subscribe, and I'll try to do more lives. Once in a while, I have some other projects that I wanna break down. Let me know if you see another one on my YouTube channel that you would like to, even some of the videos that I made. Let me know your thoughts on it. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you.